avoid legal snacks by telling people they're being recorded. You're being recorded.
It's recording.
Oh my god, how
Okay.
dare you?
So welcome to the mid-season cast assessment for Big Brother Disney Magic Kingdom. We have Keaton here gonna assess the remaining of the cast with us, the final 10.
Time to judge people.
This is gonna be more me asking questions than actually judging, because of course I don't have the knowledge of this game that you two do. So it's gonna be me speculating and then seeing how right I am.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
That's why you're here. You're just here to bully people.
I mean, that's why I'm in the Orc community in the first place.
Same.
That's accurate.
Yeah. All right,
Now,
Brian, you want to list us off like person by person?
Let me go to the house. I believe the first person alphabetically is Alex. So I'm going to start with him. I'm going to get the house chat if you want to start first with him.
He's inactive. He's like literally floating by in this game. I think everyone wants to take him to final 2 just because they know that they'll win. He came really close to winning this head of household competition though, and I think that's interesting. I think that would have been such an interesting round to have the most inactive person win head of household and to see what he would have done. I also don't know where he's aligned. Like Miner said he's with Timmy G's side, what was Timmy G's side, but I really don't believe that. I think Alex is just kind of doing whatever. Like from what I can tell, he's closely aligned with Brian.
Can I ask what Timmy G's side was?
Timmy G's side was like Timmy G. It was Olivia before she walked. Lily. It was the massive majority alliance. Who else was in that?
Gizmo, Seb.
Well, Timmy G and Gizmo were like running it.
Seb was like a side piece for them, kind of.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, but it was massive.
Chips.
Oh, Chips is in there too. Yeah.
And the other side was basically like Brian, Timmy L, and
Liam.
Someone else. Liam, yeah, and I guess they kind of put in Jay now, even though Jay's like floating. We're not on Jay yet. We're on Alex.
Jay and Brian are the ultimate floaters, but yeah, we're on Alex.
Alex, I don't know where he stands in this game. Like he's playing like so inactive, but like it's probably gonna get him super far. At least till I'm gonna make a guess. He's gonna at least make final 5, and then from there, I don't see anyone take him out. So he might be a lock for final 2, unfortunately. And then whoever he's against probably wins, unless there's a bitter jury. But it would have been so crazy seeing him be HOH this week. I was like, oh my god.
So I've seen Alex do this exact thing before, just be completely inactive but still try hard the challenges. And everyone wrote him off. But what happened that week was he went up against someone that people actually liked in the game, and there just wasn't the numbers to keep someone who wasn't there. So unless Alex gets put up against a socialite, he's probably going to get deep into the game. And I don't know who the socialite if there is a socialite in this game. Maybe Lily. I know Lily likes to talk to people a lot, but I don't know if she's socialite per se.
Yeah, I don't know who's running the social game of this game, because like we have so many big personalities that have like painted different kinds of targets, like, and we've had so many like fights and everything. I don't know who's really like running the social game.
I think Ruthie, honestly, under the radar, but she's playing every side.
But Ruthie has really been killing it. Ruthie can lie to everyone's face and get away with it.
But here's my issue with Ruthie that I've had in the past. Ruthie tends to have a lot of information, spread a lot of information, but never take a shot. It's just like she's the catalyst of every fuck up, and she'll never get the credit that she deserves. Like
that's key. I can totally see that happening. I love talking about everybody but Alex.
Like, okay, because let's be real here. Alex is. I did not realize that Alex was inactive, because Alex is very much alive in hosting his own game. But apparently he's not here.
He kind of has to be.
Yeah, he's definitely not here. And also, like, I think the reason that we keep talking about everyone else is just because, like, Alex doesn't have a game without everyone else's game, because he's not playing. Like, that's the key. I can totally see that happening.
So
And I was honestly really hoping that he would win this HOH and it would kind of wake up his game. Like he would make a big move, like take out a big target, something like that to like set him up to start playing. Because like if he could take over now, making it as far as he has, and just subtly build his game from now to the end, he could have a really good shot to have a great game at the end and win. Like on his merit, not because he's the GOAT and there's a bitter jury.
And he has what's it called? A storyline because he survived week 1. So if he did do that and play the game, he certainly could have a great chance to win the game. But I don't see him doing it. He has to do it this week or the following week. But I don't think he's going to do it. But I hope he proves me wrong. He could.
I agree.
Next up on the list, if everyone's done talking about Alex.
I'm good.
Who?
Next up on the list, I believe it's the only person Keaton doesn't know, is Brian. I'm actually really impressed with Brian. He only had the one spot where he was on the block, but he won the veto to save himself. And his reads sometimes in his DR are spot on. And it just really impressed me.
Oh my gosh, yeah, he has had his finger on the pulse of this game from like basically the beginning, and he is running with it, and I'm so proud of him. I'm so glad I brought him back to play this game because he's really thriving, and he's taken like everything that he used to do really poorly in games and turning it on its head. He's like really running. Honestly, if anyone is running the game socially, I think it's Brian actually, because he's not only getting all of the information from everyone, including Ruthie, but he's using it and he's holding his cards when he needs to and playing them when he needs to. And I think if anyone has like a really great like arc and pitch at the end, it would be Brian if he can make it that far.
I don't see anyone potentially targeting him anytime soon, so I think he's a lock for at least Final 7, if I may be so bold to say that.
I would also agree with Final 7. I'm just worried that people are going to finally realize that he's been floating in the middle the entire time. I honestly see, if anything, Brian now getting that like iconic 6th place placement because he's going to get caught in the middle and people are going to realize like the bigger targets are going to be too scared. I think it's going to be the people in that majority alliance that are going to be too scared to target each other. So they're going to go after the quote unquote floaters, and Brian's one of them.
6th place is pretty iconic, so I'll agree with you there. So I think with the game that you guys are telling me Brian's doing, he either will make it through the next couple rounds without any look at him as a threat, or what I actually think is more likely, and I'm going to take a shot in the dark here, if he has so much information and he used to not be good at handling this side of the game, he's going to slip. I think in the next couple of weeks, something's going to crack. Someone's going to say something to him. He lets something go that he should not, and it just spins a ball that sends him rolling out of the house. One of the two things is going to happen.
That's T. I can also definitely see that happening because he has enough crackhead energy that I think if he gets too far into it and gets too comfortable, he'll get into a fight that serves him really, really wrong. Like he'll say something to someone because he loves to pick a fight. So, or not even necessarily pick a fight, but if someone picks a fight to him, like I know he was telling me in one of his last DRs that if Gizmo even says a word to him, if Gizmo's nominated, if Gizmo even says a word to him, he's going to add me so I can record it and yell at him, like pop off. So if that happens, I'm nervous that like that could happen with Gizmo or someone else or anyone that could really turn it against Brian and get him.
If he does that to Gizmo, he's dead. If he does that to Gizmo, he is done.
I don't know.
I
have so many words to say about Gizmo, but we'll get there.
But one thing I can say about Gizmo is Gizmo talks. So if you say that to Gizmo, any information you give, it's going to the entire house in an hour.
Oh, I don't mean information. I mean Brian's gonna flame the fuck out of.
Well, but what if he accidentally says something game-wise? That's the issue.
That's valid, and I completely understand that. Like,
if he gets so heated, he just starts flaunting his own game.
Yeah, feel that.
Anyone else have anything else to say on Brian before we move on to the next person?
I'm just going to stick with the fact that if he makes it in another couple rounds, he wins the game simply because I do not know who he is.
Valid.
I would love to see him win the game. Honestly, Brian is one of my like top picks right now. I'm really, really, really rooting for Brian.
If he makes it to the end, I think no matter who he is against, he has a shot to win, no matter anyone in the cast.
he's got jury management going really well. Like as far as I'm aware, even the people like with the exception of Gizmo, I think he has really good relationships, at least enough so to like get those votes at the end. Because even if people aren't working with him, they'll respect his game at the end.
Fair enough. And with that, I will move on to the next person. Is Chips? Madison, you want to start with Chips?
Oh my gosh, sure. I think Chips is playing an interesting. I think Chips and Ruthie and Lily are playing very similar, kind of like floating, but not too floating. Like they're not Alex, they're not completely inactive, but they're just letting the bigger targets take the lead. And I feel like it's served them well up until this point, but it could turn on them very soon if those big targets decide to start just picking them off. Like eventually this majority alliance that has been going is going to have to turn on each other at some point, and I feel like I don't think Chips will be on the bottom of that, but I feel like he's in a precarious position.
I do think that Chips, from what I'm hearing, he doesn't talk game with most people, or not often enough that makes people feel comfortable. I can see him not being like a target for somebody, but I can see them putting someone putting up as a pawn, and then he might accidentally go that week because someone else might flip the vote, like Brian did in the Jesse booth. Also, I don't think we gave enough credit to Brian. I hate to go back. He really did flip that Jesse boot, and I don't know if that was good or bad for his game.
100%.
I think it was good for his game though, and it was amazing.
I
But
think
we're on
it was
Chips.
great for his game, and I think that's definitely the biggest like game move that has been made so far.
I would argue that Timmy G saving Alex, whether we liked it or not as host, like also contends with that. But I see your point.
But also Timmy G's gone.
Oh yeah, you're right.
In all
So,
fairness, Timmy G said, "I don't want to be here no more."
valid. Also, like I guess I've kind of already like leaked it, but also Keaton, don't tell anybody the jury has started. You're the only one that knows.
Oh, they don't know yet?
Yeah, no one knows.
Wait, how many people are left in the game?
We're at 10 now. It started with Timmy G.
Wait, does not even the players know?
No, the players don't know either. They're not going to know till they're voted out.
The players might never know there's a jury.
Yeah, exactly. They have no idea. Literally every time they've been asking constantly, and we're always just like, "What's a jury? I've never heard of that."
Oh my. What? Okay, okay. Fuck the cast assessment for a second. What crackhead host shit is this? You're like, we're never gonna tell you if there's a jury. The final two is just gonna battle in a battle of wits.
No, and then my other joke is that me, Brian, and Minor are the jury.
Oh my god, you should start with that. You should be like, final two. Okay, pitcher came to us, and you make them do it for like a minute. You like literally start them doing it.
That would be really funny, actually.
Or we go one level and it's just like, we had 2 people do the cast assessment. These are the only 2 people able to vote.
Oh my god. It's just Keaton and Jonah. They're the jury.
It's like, we've been watching your games from the outside. Now we will cast your judgment. Okay, anyways, Chips. So, with Chips, my thought is that he does talk. He likes talking quite a bit, but the thing is, he just likes to talk to people and learn about them. He doesn't necessarily make game moves unless he can do it without anyone realizing. And I think that's what basically happened with Jesse, if I'm not mistaken.
Brian pulled off that move. I went back to that. That was my mistake.
Okay, did Chips do anything?
Well, Chips was
Not
part of
yet.
that vote, but like, yeah.
Negative.
Yeah, he was dragged along into that vote. He was just one of the people that was flipped. He was not doing the flipping.
Okay. So I think Chips is very, very much trying to bide his time and seeing if he can take a shot, because he does make moves, but he waits.
So far, Calvin is playing Chips' game. Calvin has saved him so far.
Well, does Chips know that? Probably not.
I mean, Liam said he might put him up, but other than that, I don't see anyone putting him up anytime soon.
And I think even then, Liam was kind of just putting him up as the pawn. Like it was between Lily and Chips as to who was going to be the pawn last week.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they're still not targets, and I think that's what's interesting. But he also hasn't won any comps.
He
right?
won
No,
one.
he won the one veto competition because he has the power. That's right.
But then that shows that he did not want to make any waves, so he decided to take the power instead of showing his cards.
True.
But to be fair, he got to use that soon. And I don't know if it'll help him immensely, but it might help him win a crucial comp.
Can I know what this power is?
The power that he took. So when people win the veto, they're given either the option to take the power veto or two other options. And they don't know what the things are. They're just like Disney-ish items.
Oh, everyone always gets two other choices?
Yeah, so there's always three choices if you win the veto competition. We did it now, so now it's just the veto because we ended like giving out the powers. But
Jesus
for a while,
Christ, that's disgusting.
That's why the first few veto competitions were canceled, and no one knew why. Was because the people were taking the powers instead of taking the veto. Therefore, there was no veto ceremony.
And no one was saying anything?
No, yeah, for a while, no one said anything. I think Chips told like two people.
He made a stupid lie in the. I hate to say it was stupid, but you remember at Madison week 1, he was like, I had to do a competition, or I was going to lose my vote. It just didn't make no sense to me.
He came up with something dumb, but then he told Timmy G what the actual power was. It was funny. Chips actually popped off, so when the veto ceremony was canceled, and then Chips started going off and just saying the names from what the veto competition was in the chat as though it was like a challenge that he had to say all of them. It was so funny. He was confusing everyone.
Okay, I never got the answer. What the fuck was his power?
Oh, the power he has right now is to like a slight advantage in an HOH competition or in any competition.
Anyone else have anything juicy?
No, I don't think the only other power that was taken was Timmy's, right? Timmy G took one and it got him it lost him his vote.
Yep. There was others, but Timmy L and the other person who won veto, Brian, took the veto because they were on the block.
Yeah.
Well, it's a shame that the twist was wasted.
What can you do?
What can you do?
Rig.
Is that all we got to say about Chips?
Probably not winning this game because he's existing.
Yeah, probably not. I don't see him winning either. Even if he does make it to the end, unless he's there with Alex, I don't see him winning.
No, if he's there with Alex, people are gonna be like, "Fuck you."
Honestly, if Chips took the only way I can see Chips winning this game is if he makes a couple really big moves between now and the end and does take someone like Alex, so that he has a game to defend it, that he has a game to defend, but also like no one there with him that's played a better one. And Alex, I think, is the only person that he has a shot at winning against. But even then, if he makes it to the end with Alex with the game he's playing right now, I
think even Liam beats him, even though Liam's been evicted? You think even Liam beats him, even though Liam's been evicted?
I mean, I think Liam winning that buyback and coming straight in, winning HOH, puts him like that. I'd vote for that game.
Ballot? The next person on the list is not Liam. It's actually Gizmo. And Gizmo was actually my winner pick going into the season, and that was messy. But I mean, I didn't expect him to play like this. He's playing a very villainous game.
Gizmo going into this game. Can't relate anymore.
He makes a move or tries to do something. It calls people. He makes a move, and then he goes and he's like, I'm stressed out, which is understandable. But then he just goes to hide, and it's like, own up to your game. Like, if you're gonna play villainous, just own up to it.
So, Keaton, for context, Gizmo keeps making like a move, pissing people off, and then being like, I'm stressed, I'm anxious, I'm this, I'm that, which I understand. Like, I understand if life is going on, and it genuinely is, but it seems like he only has stuff going on when the game isn't going his way. When he's in power, everything's great, and he's picking fights with people and making moves, and then as soon as it flips the other way, he hides and runs away. And, like, not only to the other players, but also to us as hosts.
Well, that's interesting. I've had a recent dealing with Gizmo, and that was in TS97, where Gizmo blew up his own game in the span of 24 hours. And how that happened was 5 days before, he tells me he lost his vote, and we didn't go to tribal for 5 days. And then he goes to everyone. It says dumb shit to every single human being on the planet. He tries to throw every name under the bus. I told 4 people he lost his vote, and then everyone starts going after him. I fell asleep. I woke up. I told him he was the vote, and he tried to get me out. And it didn't work.
Messy.
But
So,
I see Gizmo is messy consistently. This is Gizmo.
So Gizmo this game sent his veto plans to, so they were playing the veto competition.
Okay.
He sent his plans for if he won to the veto competition chat instead of like the alliance chat or whatever he meant to send them to. And then tried to like turn it around and be like, oh, I was just copying Seb's message. That was Seb's plan, not mine. It was so messy. He sent it straight to the competition chat.
I love that he was like, I'm going to cover it up. Like, huh?
Yeah, he tried. He really tried to like act like it wasn't him.
Yeah, no, I knew about that simply because I'm in a friend group with Liam and Jay, and they made a joke about that a couple days ago.
Oh my god, yeah.
And I'm just like, yeah, that sounds about right. Okay, so Gizmo can't win, right?
He has an opportunity this week, as I think Lily's probably his closest ally, and she's HOH. He has
Oh,
opportunity
you're fucking kidding.
if he plays it right, she is his closest ally, I think, not vice versa. I don't think. But I think he has the.
I would. Sorry.
I think he has the ability this week if he plays his cards right to not end up on the block. But I don't think he's making it any farther. He's just the house target right now.
Yeah,
and it's very hard to get
target.
it off him.
Everyone's annoyed not only on a game level with him, but I think everyone's just kind of personally annoyed with like the fact that he won't own up to his game. He won't talk about any of the moves that he's made. He won't even he won't apologize or justify them like at all. He just like doesn't respond and goes MIA until he has power again or feels comfortable.
He could win competitions to the end. I mean, he has shown
yeah, I mean
so far.
that's the only thing. But honestly, I think he's pretty much the only person in the house right now that if he made it to the end, like I think Alex could beat him. I think he would be the person that the jury would be better against.
So one thing that I think is bad, I think if Lily does not put up Gizmo, if Gizmo's house target, does Lily then become house target simply because she didn't do what the house wanted and made her own plan? Like, I think she might have to put up Gizmo just to appease the house. I don't think Lily's the kind of person to make her own move, especially with still this much game left to play, them at Final 10. Like, I think Gizmo could go this week.
I agree, and I personally would love to see it.
But she could also justify not putting up originally by saying like she has a backdoor plan for him, and then depending on who wins the veto, she can play it off like the backdoor plan didn't happen, and that might be a way she can get out of that and save Gizmo if she chooses to.
Not put him up, then hope that Gizmo wins veto by getting picked, and then that's the only way it works. In any other situation, it would be expected that Gizmo goes up. So that could just buy time for her to get yelled at.
I don't think she has incentive to keep Gizmo, like even though she is his closest ally, but like I don't think she has incentive.
Kinky.
Anything else left on Gizmo? Anything else anyone want to say?
No. Other than
the next person.
I look like a
next person is Lily. She's not alphabetical, but in the thing, she's just Lily. So Lily's playing really smart, in my opinion. And depending on how she plays this HOH, she could, if she goes after Gizmo, which would be smart for her, then she could end up like setting herself up in the best position going forward. And she has allies in the house: Ruthie, Chips, like she's in a chat with. She has other friends. Like Timmy L was her friend, I believe.
I think the only person so far that has even mentioned seeing Lily as a target is Brian, and even then Brian was like, "Oh, but I don't want to get rid of her now. Like, we can like work on that later. Like, she's not my top priority. I don't think she's my biggest target, but like I see her being scary at the end," which is again just Brian having a wonderful read on the game, because I agree. Like, Lily, I think is on track to win as of right now. Like, I think she is in the best position just because she has the power. She's had a couple comp wins under her belt, but no one is intimidated by it. Like, no one's mentioned it. Unlike, Gizmo wins 2 competitions, one of which wasn't even him really winning. And people are like, oh my God, he's won so many comps. And no one has mentioned the fact that Lily has won the same amount.
Lily is one of the smartest players that I've met as far as the social ability goes. She can talk her way into and out of any situation she would please. She has the social ability that is beyond anything I've seen, but she also has a brain and can use that to properly make the move that's best for her. I'm not quite sure why she's winning HOHs, because I feel like she doesn't need to, because she wouldn't be the target anyways. I don't know why I feel like her winning competitions might actually be the misstep, but I don't know everything that's going on. So
I think her earlier HOH made me a little nervous. I was kind of like, ooh, she could be painting a target on her back. I feel like this week she has justification just because, like, regardless of whether or not she was a pawn, she was on the block last week. So I feel like she can easily justify that and, like you said, talk her way out of it and just be like, well, I was on the block, like I just wanted to make sure that didn't happen again this week. It is what it is. Like,
she's putting up Liam.
Yeah,
she
has 2 noms that people won't be mad about. Liam, because Liam nominated her, and Gizmo, because house target, and she will be fine if that stays that way.
If it stays that way, yeah. I think the only thing that could get her into trouble is if she has to make a renom, because I feel like everyone is going to come to her with different opinions as to who to renominate after those 2. So
she'll have to get someone to volunteer as a pawn, and then it doesn't matter if they go, just get someone to volunteer so the blood isn't on her hands.
True.
No, but the first time I played with Lily was Tumblr Survivor Kilimanjaro, and she ended up winning that, and it was by a game similar to this, so I could see her just pulling it out and getting to the end, and I wouldn't be mad about it at all.
If Lily keeps playing the kind of game that she's playing she's played up to this point, like, and only builds on that, like if she really does like continue to grow her game as it is right now, I vote for her game to win. So I can't imagine why everyone else wouldn't.
I think she's playing a really strong game, and yeah, she can definitely win it if she makes it to the end. I predicted her making it to the final 2 in the first case assessment. I'm stick by it, and now I think she can even win. So it's amazing. I think she's playing amazing.
Yeah.
You predicted a final 2. Okay.
I predicted Gizmo and Lily final 2.
Okay, hold the fuck up. We're just going to talk about that for a second, because that in its own right is a what the fuck moment. We picked 2 people that exist on total opposite planes of the gaming spectrum. And you said, yeah, sure. Literally, you wanted chaos at final 2. You wanted a nether portal to open up and just everyone to get swallowed by it. That's what you were asking for.
That would have been fun. And they're still in the game. It's not out the realm of possibility.
for Lily's sanity, it better be.
Still killing it.
Imagine drafting. I could never.
If that's everything on Lily, the next person is Jay. And do you want to start with Jay, or you want me to, Madison?
Go for it. You're closer with him than I am.
Okay. Jay. Damn, fucking. Jay is playing. I'm really frustrated with the way he's playing, because I expected him to come in this game playing really well, because I know he's a smart player. He just came off a Survivor win, but Big Brother and Survivor are different. But he's not in any groups. All his allies, at least pre-jury, have left, and now he's got to find new allies. And he didn't even know that Timmy L was against Alex week 1, when basically the whole house knew it. So his reads in the game are bad, at least so far. But I have faith in him, because he's playing social, trying. He had to talk to Brian, and Brian filled him in the size of the house. He did not know what the size of the house were until Brian told him. At least maybe he's playing dumb with Brian, but in his confessional, he told me that he didn't know what the size of the house were. until Brian told him, and he's playing that drunk thing, that fake drunk thing. I don't know if that's necessarily going to work. I don't know how much of a help it has in his game, but more power to him if he thinks it works.
That's a
fake
constant
drunk
with his
thing
game,
is
I
a
will say.
consistent. Yeah, that's a consistent strategy for Jay.
But he only does it with people that don't know, and this group doesn't know. So
Yeah, this group doesn't know, so valid. However, I don't think he's even really playing it. I don't think anyone's picked up on it up to this point. Like no, like I feel like in every other game, like people are always like, oh well, Jay's just drunk all the time, but like no one's noticed. So but I do think he's playing dumber than he like. I don't think he's. I agree he doesn't have a good read on the game, but I think he's playing dumber than he really is in a lot of cases with people. Like I think that's just kind of his strategy is to play the like, teehee, I don't know what's going on, carry me to the end. But
if he gets carried to the end here, he loses.
Exactly. The that's the problem. That's what I see happening. It's like I see Jay as honestly more likely to be carried to the end than Alex, just because I feel like someone would eventually pick out like Alex just because he's so inactive. But I feel like Jay is that same level of almost inactivity, just with a little more backbone, I guess, to his game. And he's also playing a better social game. Like again, I think his entire game has rested on like his till 5 a.m. Skype calls with the house. Like,
So here's the thing with the big game of Big Brother in any social strategic game. It's luck in part. And I think Jay just got unlucky that all his allies was walking out the door one by one. I don't think it was necessarily his fault that ended up happening. And it's lucky for him that there was a buyback, so one of them came back into the game and he wasn't totally alone with trust. But I think he just got unlucky. But if he was unaware of the size of the house, then he might just think he's in a better position than he is, or his name is David Alexander, and he doesn't think there's alliances in the game at Final 10. So it's one of the two at this point, and if that happens, then at this point he's not playing up the drunk fact. He's just drunk.
yeah, I mean, I kind of agree.
I don't see anyone necessarily putting him up anytime soon, but do you see anyone putting him up, Madison? I'm trying to look at this cast and see who would put him up and for what reason, but I can't.
Yeah, honestly,
Him and Timmy L did have like.
Yeah, true. Timmy L.
That was. I think that was bad for Jay. Like him, like not showing that he had distrust for Timmy L. It's not gonna. At least I wouldn't take it well if I was Timmy L.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Timmy L is not the person to like get sus. Like, you know, like, well, I mean, like Timmy L will get sus over anything and anyone, and I feel like provoking that was one of the worst moves he could have made. However, I think if like Jay and Seb teamed up, honestly, that could be kind of iconic. Or if he can really get like at this point, I think Brian really wants to take Jay to the end. So if he can just roll with that and maybe make a couple moves between now and then, somehow like some subtle stuff that doesn't sketch Brian out too much. Or if he can like try to get into Brian's ear and make Brian make his moves for him and take credit for them at the end, he could have a shot. I just don't see him trying hard enough to do that.
There's definitely a great path to the end for him. A path to win is small, in my opinion, unfortunately.
Agree.
No one can win. It's Alex's game on a silver platter. What are you guys talking about?
The next person up is Ruthie, and if I had to give a player of the season right now, I would honestly, me personally, I would give it to Ruthie. She's in multiple alliances.
What?
She has a Final Four. So what to what?
To her being player of the season right now, sir.
That's my opinion. Everyone can have different opinions. Like she's not active, but like she's not making moves. But like to me, I see her in multiple chats, and I don't know what's happening in the PMs, obviously, but no one's targeting her. At least not yet. I mean, I don't see anyone targeting her in the near future. I could be wrong on my read, but I have faith that Ruthie will make it far.
So Brian having poor views once again. What a concept. This happens a lot. Madison, I just want to say that.
What?
I just wanted to say that. You can talk.
No, you're fine. I agree. That's a questionable opinion, but I just think I think eventually Brian is gonna snuff out that she's been playing them. Like I think Brian is too secure in his like connection with Ruthie right now. My problem is I want to know like we need to get Ruthie in a DR soon because I need to know where her loyalties lie. I want to know who she really wants to work with and who she's just bullshitting because honestly based on what I read in the alliances, I can't tell who she really wants to work with.
Oh, same, honestly. But
And
she's
like
working with
yes,
everybody,
that
which
is
can blow up in her
impressive. Yeah,
face.
that's what I see happening is that if like I don't think the Timmy G side or the formerly Timmy G side of the house will target her, but I think the Liam side of the house definitely would.
So, you know how I said Lily has one of the best social games I've seen?
Yes.
Mhm.
Ruthie's is better, but unfortunately, all she has is a social game. I've never seen her have a backbone. For shit. Like she doesn't use the information to make any move. She just gathers information, says a little bit, and then loses the game in the end because everyone trusts her, but she doesn't do anything to try and solidify a resume. And that is always her weakness. And I need her to witness this just once, just realize for once in her life that all she needs to do is make a move or two. She does not have to make a lot with the game she's playing. She just needs to have a defining move that shows that that with the information she had, she was willing to take a shot, and she doesn't do that. She could go to the end with literally anyone and have a chance to
Right.
lose hard.
Right. She always has all of the cards in her hand. She just doesn't I don't know if she doesn't know how or if she just chooses not to play them, but like that always screws her over in
Does
the
she
end. Like I've
know
seen her
she
make
has
it
all the
so
cards in her
far.
hand?
I think so. From what it seems like the way she messaged, especially during whose vote was it? Was it like during the flip? Maybe I don't remember, but there was like two messages that she sent. No, it was when the alliance chat that she's in with Brian started talking about Gizmo, and she came back to the majority alliance and told them that they were talking about Gizmo, but played like off what she was saying in the chat and everything. Like that was one of the most impressive things I've seen her do so far. And just like going back and forth, it seems like she knows what she has and it seems like she knows what she's doing socially, but she's just not willing to make the strategic move to make it happen.
Is she biding her time, or is she like not gonna do it? Because I've never had an experience with Ruthie before this, but I hope she's
I've
biding
seen
her
her just
time.
not do it. But I would love to go on the hope that she's just biding her time and she's gonna make a big move and make us all scream, and then I'll give her player of the season. I would love
Ruthie's a 6-year-old with a firearm.
That's tea.
She 100% has the ability to do damage, but she doesn't fucking know how to do it. And it's
Just
not that
wants-
hard. It really
That's a
isn't
good
that hard.
analogy.
Literally,
she
it's
just
2
can't aim
buttons
it.
she has to press, and then she can do whatever she wants. But she
just
doesn't
can't
understand
aim
how to
it.
do that.
Yeah, she just can't aim the gun.
You guys have anything else to say on Ruthie?
I think I've bullied Ruthie a lot today.
Next person who you can bully some more, Keaton, is Seb.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Seb, I don't know where he does live DRs with us a lot, what it seems like, but I never end up with live DRs seeming like I know much more about his game. I don't know if you're the same way, Madison.
I
But-
agree. I feel like every live DR we have with him is the same thing. He's just saying the same stuff about his game and other people's game over and over again. I feel like his DR today, where he was talking shit about Gizmo, is like the most new tea we've gotten from him in a long time.
That was smart, him getting away from Gizmo, but like I think anybody who has one brain cell in this game, in this situation, would have known to do that. Like, you know.
Yeah, I think he's doing really well at kind of biding his time. I think he's in a decent position in the game. Again, like I would love to see these people that are floating in the middle do something with it. Like Brian, Jay, Seb, like all of those people, like I want to see them group together in a way. Like the people that are either like because there's some people that are tied into alliances on either side, but they don't really belong, and they're at the bottom of those alliances, like clearly. So I want them to realize it. I want them to see that, get together, and do something big with it.
One thing that annoyed me with Seb is he had the unnamed alliance that I forget who consists of. Well, one vote he asked what they were doing. No one responded. For me, at least for me, that would raise red flags. And I'm like, why is that not raising red flags for him? Like, your alliance isn't responding to you. I don't know if they respond at PMs, but in the chat, no one did. So it's weird.
Yeah, he literally said, "So what's going on?" But admittedly, that was like 10 minutes before the vote, wasn't it? And I think that was the vote that people flipped on.
Oh, the Jesse vote.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was during the Jesse vote. So I'm honestly not sure what happened there. So, but yeah, I agree. I saw that and I was like, ooh, I would literally leave the chat. Honestly, at that point, like if people didn't respond, I'd just be like, "Hey, we're not working together then. Bye."
Seb's stupid. Like, I'm sorry. All I have to say is I played a game with Seb 2 years ago. At this point, it's a year and a half. Approaching 2 years, but like a year and 3/4. And I was working with Seb pretty tight, and I was HOH at 8. And he says to me, "Put me up so we can get out the other person. I'll volunteer as the pawn." And it's like, okay, I'll do that. And then he leaves unanimously. I've never seen anything quite like it.
Yeah.
If that doesn't tell you his amazing
social
social read.
mistake again.
I
mean,
I don't know what
but-
I don't know what Seb's game is gonna look like from here on out. I don't know who's gonna target him. I don't know when. I don't know why. Like I don't know who he's gonna try to work with, or if people are gonna try to like bring him into something, or if they're just gonna get rid of him because he's an easy vote, which I feel like is also valid. But I also feel like he's making decent social connections. Like it seems like people like him as a person.
But do they want to take him really far into the end? Like he obviously went up. I forget who put him up. I wonder if they have like the beef squashed, or if Leon got power again, would he put him right back up? That's the only word I have for Seb right now.
Yeah. I don't know. Seb confuses me. His game confuses me because it doesn't exist.
I agree. Anything else on Seb for either of y'all?
Seb for 8th again, just so history repeats.
Who?
Seb for 8th. History must repeat.
Seb for
Next
8th.
person
I concur. Seb
who
for
I'm thinking is playing a decent game, not the best, but like it's Timmy. He was the like his game is very out in the open, and I think that bodes well for him and the type of player he is. He'll obviously be a person that people take a shot at if like I don't know necessarily, but people might nominate him soon. But and the worry is JS sussed out with him, but I don't know if they mend fences. But Timmy, I'm liking where he is right now, but I don't know how far he will take that into the game. I don't know if it will translate into him making it far. I can see him getting like 7th or 8th.
I think once Gizmo's gone, Liam and Timmy are going to become the biggest targets in the house again. And I feel like Timmy would be more likely to go over Liam because Liam is more likable. And Timmy's been starting too many damn fights. He's been too chaotic. Like, he's feeding into the drama, which I love to see as a host, but I think it's going to screw over his game.
Keaton.
Hi.
Hi. Do you have anything to say on Timmy?
So, I'm gonna be honest. I just zoned out. I've been eating a nice ham and cheese sub for a bit.
Fair enough.
So I could.
We're talking about Timmy O.
Does Timmy have a game? I need to ask. I know you probably just discussed it.
It's okay. So yeah, in my opinion, he's playing once Gizmo is gone, I think that Liam and Timmy L are going to become the targets again. Just because like they're definitely the biggest names in the game after Gizmo, and that it's going to get really chaotic because Timmy's been starting a lot of fights, which as a host, as someone who loves chaos, I love to see, but I think it's going to screw over his game.
Why? Okay. Timmy L usually doesn't start fights. What? This is not his normal speed. He usually is a little more laid back.
I know he's usually like super chill, but he's been popping off on people. Like he's a part of every fight that's happened so far.
Do we know if his real life is okay? Like, does someone need to go hug him? Like, 'cause I think that might be. We gotta make. Someone has to make sure he's okay. Maynard.
He did say in the DR he was playing like to have fun, and he's not like he would like to win, but he's not like he's just he's playing to have fun. So I think that might have be a part of it. He's trying to play like you, Keen, play chaotic, and I'm living for it.
Yeah, but the difference is I can play chaotic and win games.
He's coming for our brand, Keaton.
No, but the difference is Madison and I can win games and be chaotic. He doesn't have that power harness yet.
That's tea.
You literally have to adopt it as your entire way of playing games. Otherwise, it doesn't work.
Exactly. If people know you and they know how you play, and then all of a sudden you start being chaotic, they just assume you're playing a chaotic game. When people just think you're chaotic, they don't know what to expect.
You can play. See, chaotic I think is the wrong word. I think it comes off as that, but I think it's more adaptable is the word.
Yeah, true.
A lot of people tend to stick to one play style, and they do the same thing every single time. But the people who get labeled as chaotic usually are some of the better players in the community because they're able to look at a situation and play the style they need to for that round or that portion of the game.
Exactly. We play games in the moment. And a lot of people play like a long-term game that means they're coming at every situation the same way instead of just approaching each situation as it comes and doing what you got to do to make it through to the next round.
And if people label Timmy as chaotic, they might start thinking in that realm. But this is just Timmy probably smoking heroin. That's it. That's all I got.
I don't know I don't think he does that, but
Wait,
that's for another topic.
Yeah. Time to have an intervention that might not even be real.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
I'm enjoying myself.
I wouldn't be mad at him as a winner, though. Honestly, he'd be a good
Timmy's
winner.
playing a
if he
game.
somehow makes it to
The Timmys were each running their sides of the house for a while. I think Liam kind of took over Timmy L's position of winning, of running that side of the house. But for a while, it was Timmy L versus Timmy G, and those were the sides of the house. And I think Liam kind of took over that position, especially since like coming back from buyback and winning the HOH. But from what Liam said in his DR today, he's trying to take a step down and just be nice to people and let that carry him to the end. I don't know if he's making that decision too late, but like that could put a big target on Timmy's back if people run with liking Liam, because it could make Timmy a bigger target.
Please tell me everything about Liam's game. I need to use it for Forest of Horrors. I need to blackmail him.
He's the last person we have to talk about.
The person I'm gonna blackmail? Good.
I support him. I don't mind.
So, tell me why Liam left the first time.
Put him up. Seb, I just think that there was a big alliance that was controlled by Timmy G, and they found that Timmy L and Liam were a duo, and that's why Madison's saying that if once Gizmo leaves, they'll be perceived as a duo again. It's true, they are. I don't know if either of them have tried to separate themselves, but once you're perceived as like a duo in any game, I think it's really hard to get the target off your back. And that's kind of why I think Liam left the first time over Timmy L. I mean, they're both a duo, but I think he was perceived as more of a threat and more sociable.
Yeah.
Oh, I was about to ask if you would.
Yeah, I think Liam just got targeted for being such a social threat. I think that was really like 100% what it was, because he at that point hadn't made the same like ripples that and waves that Timmy L had. I think he was just perceived as more of a threat. But honestly, since coming back, I haven't heard people say a whole lot about targeting Liam.
Wasn't it Lily that said in her host chat she would nominate him, or was it somebody else? Maybe I'm incorrect. Oh
I don't.
yeah, because he
don't
just
know.
put her on the block.
I mean, that makes sense, but like,
Oh.
because he just put her up. But other than that, like, as far as like the other people in that alliance, I don't know. I really don't know how that's gonna fall. I think Timmy L and Liam will be targeted similarly, but I feel like Liam has a slightly better shot just because I feel like he'll have a better social game and a better pitch to stay.
I don't think if it's Timmy L and Liam on the block again somehow at the end of the week, I don't think it's unanimous again. I think Liam has made it better, and I think Timmy L's game's gone down and Liam's game's gone a little up, so they can be even now. When I think it wasn't that way last time.
Yeah.
Whoever stays out of them two, I think, their target will go down potentially, and they might make it a little further in the game after that. Keaton, anything to say on Liam? Or
So I know that this is the game that Liam cares about the most. I know that because he's done jack shit in Force of Horse. So I know that this is where he's thinking right now. This is where his priorities lie, and this is where it always did. So why are you
That makes
breathing?
me happy as a host.
Someone
Yeah,
caring about your game?
Yeah, exactly.
So Liam, I think Liam did exactly what he had to, which was win that fucking HOH to try and rebuild loyalties.
Damn right.
And that could keep him around for a little bit and that's only if Lily decides to go house target route. Otherwise, Liam now needs to pull out a win out of every asshole.
If he pulls out a buyback win, followed by an HOH win, followed by a veto win the next round because he's on the block, that is just iconic. And I mean, yes, it will make him a target, absolutely, but what a good move.
I want to ask y'all, final two predictions. I'm gonna revise mine if y'all want to do it. I'm gonna start. I'm gonna go with Brian and Lily, with Ruthie as third place.
Oh God, I'm gonna go with Brian and Jay. Actually, I think Brian might just carry Jay to the end with him, and I'm gonna give Lily third. Just because I think she'll make it further, but I think Brian will win the last head of household.
Timmy L and Chips.
Timmy L and Chips.
I can see it.
I tried to actually pick the least likely possible final two, and I'm just see how wrong I am.
I honestly, I don't know. I think I can see all three of those being viable in their own ways.
I'm surprised none of us said Alex, even though he's the most likely
Alex
now.
Gets
but
third.
I don't want to see that, honestly.
No, Alex gets third.
Really, like I love Alex. I just don't want him to make it to the end because like I want the final two. And this is just my like me being the host, but I want to see the final two be two people that like deserve to win, and I really want to see them like fight it out.
Fight.
Yeah, exactly. I
like
want
not
to
like
watch
a clear
people
cut
fight
winner
to the death to win this game.
I hate everyone.
I think that's everything. Every one of the cast. Anyone else have anything to say, or what should we leave it on Keen's? I hate everybody.
They should be very happy that I decided to not play this game. They shall fear me. I would have actually got free jury. I'm Acid Big Brother.
Always. Say that to 1984.
No, I'm ready to be a part of season 2, but for all the wrong reasons.
I will stop the recording then.
Yay.